Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today on the website of David Duggleby Auctioneers based in the UK, we're going to have a look at their latest auction, which is musical instruments. Now this particular auction is due to finish on the 13th of October. It is the 7th today, so you still have a little bit of time left to go. 22% is the buyer's premium on this auction, so it's what you pay on top of the final hammer price. We're just going to have a quick look through and see if there's anything interesting. If you are looking to buy and you're from overseas, then bear in mind import, export fees, kind of stuff like that, shipping and any CITES legislation. So this is a UK based auction. Without further ado, I think we'll just crack on and we're just going to take a very quick journey through the catalogue. If you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like or comment, because it all does really help. 136 items in this particular auction, so not massive, not tiny, so a good mixture. So we have here a Bergoet Valencia handmade flamenco guitar there, so £500 to £800, virtually in mint condition they say, so not a maker I am familiar with, but nice hard case there, so it doesn't seem too bad. We've got a Japanese Squier Fender Hank Marvin from 1992, 250 to 350. So they've not checked it for being working, but they say it looks in good condition. I think these Japanese ones are quite popular, especially from that period. So that seems maybe the estimate is on the kind of lower side. I mean, it is a Squier one, but interesting looking guitar. We have a Fender Strat copy there, 200 to 300. Korean Squier Fender Stratocaster there, so 150 to 200 on that one. Another copy of a Fender Stratocaster there. Tanglewood folk guitar, Ozark resonator. Romanian Santos Martinez 3/4 Child's Classical. Got an Eastwood of Canada Delta 4 electric tenor resonator with a sunburst finish. Got a few more pictures here. So we've got a few guitars in this auction, nothing crazy so far. Epiphone Casino there, 250 to 350. These are quite popular. Okay, one made in China. Right, we've got an early 1960s American Fender Precision electric bass guitar, so that's a bit more interesting. We're on to 4,000 to 6,000 on this. Condition is consistent with being extensively played by a professional musician. A lot more pictures and things going on in here. Definitely a good amount of pictures, so they've done well, this auction house. Oh, really, it's got the case and everything. Let's have a look. There's a bit of information. What's happening here? Condition fair to good. Early 1960s American Fender Precision electric bass, original 3-tone sunburst finish and faux tortoiseshell scratch plate. Rosewood fretboard, all original fittings including chromium plated bridge and pickup covers. Okay. In Selma simulated reptile skin covered carrying case, sold with non-transferable CITES certificate. Okay. Let's see, also included are original 1960s photographs of the band The Rascals and photocopies of newspaper cuttings advertising their forthcoming performance, along with a photocopy of a photograph of their television appearance on Opportunity Knocks. Okay. In addition, there's a reel-to-reel tape recording and USB stick of the band playing and 2 sheets of biographical information. The guitar was ordered by Trevor Parker from Pat Cornell's music shop Springbank, Hull, and imported from the USA in 1962. Well before it was available in the UK. Trevor was the bass guitarist of the Rascals from Hull, later the Ides of March, who supported artists such as Elton John on the Hull circuit. Trevor played the guitar extensively until 1969 when the Rascals disbanded. He got married to Maureen and settled down to family life. Trevor sadly passed away in 2017, and after being installed for 54 years, his widow has decided it's time for his guitar to be sold. That's really interesting story, and also quite an interesting guitar, so it'd be curious to see how that goes. So this is just a good indication that, you know, interesting things can appear at any auction. Epiphone Les Paul there. Let's see, got a Gretsch semi-acoustic. I've got an American Gretsch Super Chet semi-acoustic guitar, 1960s, 1970s, 2,000 to 3,000 on that. Yeah, so you do never know what might appear, even in an auction where you might think, well, this is not a specialist auction, or most of the stuff is probably not going to be very exciting, but there's always, most of the time, there's something interesting. A couple of kind of acoustics and a acoustic and a classical there. Right, we've got a 2008 Dan McPherson JJ English handmade mahogany electric guitar. These are really cool, these JJ guitars. I think they're pretty good. 500 to 600. I think that's a good price for a nice guitar. So I think that is interesting. Tanglewood acoustic there. Fender Squire active 5-string bass there. Some books. USA Godin electric guitar. 300 to 400. Looks cool. I think some of the Godin stuff is fairly decent. Okay. John Gray banjolele there. Jacksville X Factor guitar. Yamaha amp there. Maverick. One of these Maverick guitars that were big at some point in the, I think in the 90s or maybe early 2000s. This one is not one of the ones with like the rollable tone and volume. I think those are the ones that I remember the most. 150 to 200. Old Yamaha amp there. Canadian Godin SD electric guitar. Okay. 300 to 400 on that. It's an interesting aesthetics. A cool neck. Nice kind of figure on that. And George Formby banjolele with metal plaque headstock. 1960s lap steel there. Okay, a 19th century French parlor guitar for restoration. Okay. Plaque to the head, La Paix, Paris 1830, and John Eastwood, teacher of the guitar. Interesting. 60 to 100. Let's have a look at the pictures there. Needs a bit of work. It's kind of a fairly interesting guitar. Quite a nice back on it. It's definitely more interesting than some of the ones we see. I think 60 to 100 is a kind of a fair estimate on that. I think it's an interesting looking one. American PV Nitro handmade electric guitar with a Carla tremolo. So that's kind of interesting. Rarer to see the Carla tremolos. 300 to 400 on that. Yeah, not too bad. That's curious. And what else we got here? Deering 17 fret tenor banjo there. 700 to 800. Should probably have a look at that. It's kind of a very kind of top tier banjo there. It looks very nice. So good to see that. Then we've got a Fender Princeton 65 amplifier. Ooh, 2012 American Gibson Les Paul Studio. 600 to 700 on that. This auction isn't actually too bad, to be honest. I think it's got some really interesting stuff. 2015 American Les Paul CM. Okay, 500 to 600 on that. Yeah, some interesting stuff around. Right, 19th century Italian luteback mandolin, Gennaro Maglione, Napoli, together with another one. Looks to be quite nice, nicely made instrument there. Let's have a look at some of the pictures. Usually most of these mandolins always need some kind of severe restoration. I think this one's obviously got a severe issue with separation of the top, but the one on the left actually is quite a nice model. 40 to 60 is about the standard kind of thing. Here's a Hofner Senator acoustic 1958. 250 to 300 pounds on that. I quite like these. I think these are pretty cool. And here is an acoustic guitar, Woodstock, Spanish Gitano Manuel Rodriguez Macaferri model, 1400 to 1800. These are always popular. Nice back on that, looks like Coca-Cola or something like that. Interesting. Okay, Stag model mandolin there, Clifford Essex handmade acoustic guitar, 1936. Wow, 4 to 6,000 on that, substantial. Very good condition, consistent with age and use. Metalwork rusty to case and handle crudely repaired. This is the same type of guitar as played by Vic Flick for the original James Bond theme. Interesting. Made in 1936, so really interesting. Early kind of arch top. Looks in amazing condition, really. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, very good auction so far. Mexican Fender Jaguar here, Epiphone SG, Ibanez Prestige, Fender Jaguar there, Marshall 30 DFX amp, Bugera amps here. These are always a bit controversial, just clones of other amps, but were pretty good value for money. And what else do we have here? Stag banjo, and we've got another mandolin here with a music stand. It's a bit interesting. Pietro Tonelli. Just looks very much the same as most of them. Fruitwood phono fiddle with a bow. There are definitely people that collect these for sure. See, interesting. Bow is probably more interesting than the actual instrument, I'd say. Some stands. We've got a Stentor quarter size cello there. Let's have a look at this Saxony violin. I think this is your classic trade violin there. Looks like another 3/4 one there, same Magini copy there, Stentor again. Let's have a look at this German violin, Steiner. Another kind of tradey instrument there. Well, we've got 3 pages apparently, so quite a lot of stuff. Nickel mounted bow by Paysold there. Czechoslovakian violin, stamped list, 40 to 70 on this. So again, just another trade violin of some kind. Coda bow there. Late 19th century German trade violin. Circa 1890. Yeah, it has kind of an interesting figure on the back, but I think it is just your kind of typical trade violin. So I don't think there's anything too crazy going on with that. Mid 19th century German violin. So that has a David Tekla label. Let's have a look at this. See if we can see any other pictures. Comes in one of those old kind of cases. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting violin. Don't know what the multiple soundpost cracks to the top. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's in a terrible condition, but yeah, interesting enough looking violin. There has a scroll graft, so quite possibly 18th century, but difficult to say. But this is the most interesting lot so far, 2 to 300 the estimate on that. And let's see, German Magini. This looks like your standard trade instrument again. Another bow there, nickel mounted bow. Couple of violins here. I think nothing too exciting about any of these. And 19th century French trade violin. Let's have a look at this one. Once again, looks kind of fairly interesting there. What's the estimate on that one? 100 to 150, so I think that's a fair estimate. Whole load of other violins here. Don't think anything too crazy. Czechoslovakian violin. Once again, nothing too crazy. Salvation Army Class A B flat tuba. Got a Schreiber and Son 4-piece bassoon, 700 to 1,000 on there. Looks fairly nice with its case. We also have another bassoon here, a Le Fleur bassoon, imported by Boozy and Hawkes. Once again in its case, 4 to 600. Yamaha Tyros 4 digital keyboard workstation. Some Irish whistles there by Tony Dixon. Irish 3-piece hardwood flute there. Silver plated horn there, tenor horn. And then car horn, Elkhart alto saxophone there, Jupiter soprano saxophone. We've got a Yamaha clarinet there, buffet crampon, silver plated flute, a Vito Rezzotone clarinet there, modern 3-piece oboe. Arnold and Sons alto saxophone, Odyssey Premier Straight soprano saxophone, Czechoslovakian Corton tenor saxophone. And a Czechoslovakian Boozy and Hawkes power tone alto saxophone. Okay, and a Yamaha tenor saxophone here. 19th century inlaid rosewood flutina accordion. We do see these quite a lot. 30 to 40 pounds on that. What else do we have? Hohner International Anglo Concertina, 150 to 250 there. Always a good market for concertinas, so that could do okay. And a studio piano accordion there. Phoenix 2-piece piccolo. Some wooden recorders there. Pearl 4-piece drum kit there. And Premier Artist Birch snare drum. Just an older drum there. Let's see what else. Zildjian crash cymbal there, and there's another Zildjian crash. Whole load of Zildjian cymbals there. Timpani drum, another timpani. It's a Meinl African brown C drum, interesting. Irish bowron with some tambourines and stuff, and a conga drum there, so that's interesting. Microphones, some stands, going a little bit away from our kind of thing. Some piano tuning things. Miscellaneous instruments. Let's have a look at this. An accordion, recorder, some other stands and bits like that. Let's see what else we got here. Kind of unrelated, so I wonder if the next page is going to be Steinmeier upright piano there, metronome, alto saxophone, 3-piece flute there, Le Fleur flute there. Let's see, mid 20th century Henri Selma saxophone here, tenor saxophone. These always go for really, really good money. These are extremely popular. These also come up to auction like quite frequently, like different versions of them, but this one looks fairly good. 3.5 to 4,500 there. A couple more violins that have sneaked in here. German trade violin in the Steiner style. And another one. Let's have a look at this. Quite a nice back on that instrument. Thing with these pictures, you click on them and then it doesn't actually go to the picture, it just makes it the biggest one here. But anyway, nice back on that. Vibraphone here, that's interesting. Marshall JVM 100 amp, Mark bass Traveller, cabinet, orange Terra bass, and cab bass guitar speaker there by Orange. Trace Elliott Fender, Headstrong Lil King S valve amplifier, Fender Deluxe reverb, Fender Model 68 Galen Kruger amplifier, interesting. 19th century Swiss cross-branded rosewood and ebonized bells. It's a symphonium, and I think that is possibly, yeah, I think we're at the end of it. Actually, pretty interesting auction, quite diverse, but some pretty good things. Some good amps, looks like a couple of good kind of wind instruments, some really good guitars, interesting kind of bowed instruments as well. I think it's not a bad auction, to be honest. It's not groundbreaking, but it earned some drum bits as well. I think it kind of covers the bases, and I think there's a few interesting items, especially in the guitars. Actually, there is definitely some better stuff in the guitar land. So yeah, that's basically it. So this auction finishing on the 13th of October. So I'll put a link in the description as always. Check it out, see what you think. If you've got any comments, thoughts, please post away. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.